Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Move Happy Movement podcast with Erin Nicole. My name is Peter Kim. I happen to meet Erin via Instagram, and her content and her materials are so on point that I keep on following her. And now to today's guest, Julie Leingang.
Hello.
Thank you so much for taking the time today, Julie. I know you're super busy. Thank you.
As are you. As are you.
And it's really fabulous how, we connected just through happenstance, as a friend of a friend through a Facebook group, I want to say 6-7 years ago. And, I was sharing some content on there, and he said, I want to connect you with this beautiful woman. She's just got a great heart. She knows a lot of people, and I know you're going to hit it off right away. And it kind of started from there. And we just kind of built out this friendship, this, business, you were my customer as well at one point, and you've connected me to a lot of, opportunities to really grow professionally and personally. And I've seen you around your kiddos and be just this beautiful super mom doing all for everybody. And I'm so honored that you took time today to be on the show. I want people to learn from you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I mean, it's an honor and I'm flattered. And yes, we do go way back and we haven't aged at all.
So I know.
I'm not sure what's in the serum, but no, I'm very, very proud of you. I mean, you've come a long way and you've overcome a lot of struggles, and it's just so good to see you happy. And that Move Happy is just like the perfect title for you. It's no matter what is under that umbrella, it's the perfect title for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot coming from you.
Sure.
So for those that, haven't connected like you and I have together, why don't we start from the very beginning? So what has helped to shape who you are today? What's your origin story?
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh, where do I start? Well, I was a beanpole growing up. I was picked on quite a lot, but I never really let that bother me. My parents were very strict, and I had that upbringing. I have, 4 siblings, and we were raised in a house with manners and being respectful, and, sticks and stones. Right. Yeah. And I kind of took that with me even now. Surprisingly, adults are just as bad, if not worse, than children. If not worse than children out there. And so you just kind of have to build that wall and build that self-confidence. I was very shy. I was always the nerd of my group of friends. I was always the one where the guy would ask me to get the number, because I was just that person. I was the girl next door. I was just that scrawny beanpole kid. And I think that made people comfortable around. So they felt like they could talk to me. And I am a Gemini, so I do talk a lot, but I've always had those shoulders to lean on. And people just are drawn to talk to me. And I think I'm a pretty good listener. And I got that from my father as well. And I just listen. And when the moment is right, I'll give my opinion or I won't. It just kind of depends on the situation. So, going back to your question, I think it stems from my parents and the way that they raised us.
I love that. And now you said 4 other siblings. So 5 of you in the household growing up. Where are you in that order?
So I have 2 older brothers, then a sister, then 9 years later, me, then 2 years later, my little brother.
Okay. So you were the youngest for a bit.
Yes.
And then you became an older set. So you're kind of in the middle, bottom
kind
middle.
Of a middle child. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot to say about our birth order too. So I'm always curious to see how people's personalities play out with larger families. So that's cool. I like that a lot.
I always thought I wanted to have 5 kids. My mom had 5 kids. I could do it. Out of my siblings, I was the last to have a child.
Really?
And I was 30. So I was the oldest I was at the oldest age to have a child out of all 5 of us. And I had 1 and I was like, "Ooh, I'm good." And then life goes on. And then I met my new husband, and he had 2 girls from previous marriage. So now I have 4 girls.
Yeah.
So, I'm
Beautiful
good though.
blended
I'm done.
family.
I'm Julie's done. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And let's talk a little bit about that. So you meet your wonderful husband, you guys have this blended family magic, I would say, and you're also doing your side stuff.
Oh my gosh, how many sides can a person have? I mean, really, and you know this as well as I do. I have stumbled on to so many different side businesses, hoping for that quick, building of a team and retiring at 40. It didn't happen. But that's trial and error. You got to find what works for you.
Yeah.
And what worked for me was just one piece of all the different companies that I tried.
Yeah.
There was something that I took and learned from each of those businesses that I took a chance at.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and I love that about you too, because, a huge part of Move Happy is one of the pillars is mindset, and to try and fail. I wouldn't say fail, but like try something and then it didn't work for you for, whatever reason. Then you try something new.
right.
What are some tips and strategies that you've been able to either teach yourself or learn from others on keeping that positive mindset when things don't go as you thought they might have? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So one of the things that I've learned over the years, and I saw it broadcast either on Facebook or an advertisement or something, might have been a guru talking on Facebook, but he had said, people don't buy into the product, they buy into you.
So true.
And I never really thought about that. But what I have done, and even with you, is, I build a relationship first, a friendship first.
Yep.
And for me, I'm not a big time seller. That's just not me. I'm not in your face. I'm not a pushy person, but I truly want to be your friend first. And
I'm the same.
If that friendship turns into you being a customer, rock on.
Yeah.
But if not, there's a friendship there.
Yep.
And within that friendship and those conversations and those needs, and those desires and those goals, if there's anything in there that I could help with, that makes me happy. That makes me feel good. Whether or not, I met my quota for the month. That doesn't matter. It's that friendship that you build, that lifelong friendship sometimes that you build with somebody. And you never know who you're going to meet. You never know why. And that I just take those with me no matter what industry I'm stepping into or what event I'm going to.
Yeah.
Just got to keep that at the forefront, and I think you'll be fine.
I love that. And where do you think that stemmed from? Do you think you created that yourself or you learned that from someone? Building friendships first.
I think I've just always been that kid who is open arms, even in grade school. I got in trouble for talking a lot. But at the same time,
shame on you. Socializing.
I knew what it's like to get picked on, right? I knew what it was like to get teased.
Yep.
And so I always found that kid or even that teacher sometimes, or, a parent or a sibling friend. And I just befriended them because I put myself in their shoes.
Yep.
And you don't always know what that other person is going through. But if you take a moment to just, open your mind and put yourself in that vulnerable position to think about what they go through, then it kind of changes your way of thinking sometimes.
I agree. And I think that's what really stood out for me when we first connected, because that's something that my mom has instilled in me. Like always to this day, I will always have that understanding and perspective of the other person's shoes, if you will. And when we connected, I remember where I was at on that phone call with you, and we're just like chatting it up and learning about each other. And I was like, ooh, I like her. I couldn't put a finger on why, but now this is all coming clear now. I love that. And great tips on mindset too. I'm sure we could dive even deeper into it, on a follow-up episode, but you touched a lot on building relationships, building friendships, reaching out first, whether it was a kid in your class, a teacher, even, you're great at building friendships. And that's our second pillar is building community, whether it's community through relationships as a friend, business partnerships, romantic with your husband, things like that. What are some tips and strategies for those that might be in the entrepreneurial space, might be a mom trying to do the side hustle, that struggle with reaching out first? Like, what are some tips you could share with them?
I would, it depends on your personality. So the introverts, obviously, that they're going to struggle the most, right?
Yeah.
And with COVID happening, excuse me, people are forced to go online.
Yeah.
And, those who dabbled in the online business and the social media kind of know there's the good and the bad of
Yeah.
the online world, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of have to be cautious, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, branch out, step out, do you like reading? Join a book club.
Yeah.
That's simple. That's not harmful. That, hopefully they're reading appropriate material, but you find the good person, find, go to your church, go find your faith, find,
Yeah.
similarities of, there's so many groups. And I'm even in, I don't even know how many groups I belong to on the network, but that's a good start. Find a group
Yeah.
that just sewing, needlepoint,
Yeah.
painting, something like that. Find a hobby that makes you
Yeah.
happy, that's therapeutic for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's
Mm-hmm.
your comfort zone, and join a group. And I guarantee you're going to have so many people coming at you. And again, do your due diligence, obviously, but you'll be surprised at how many people are just like you, you
Yeah.
know. So I would say, Google it, go to Facebook, even if you're not techie savvy,
Mm-hmm.
find a group, and they have their own websites that you can find, and just join in. And it doesn't have to cost you anything. There's some free groups out there that you can join and find a match, if you will.
Yeah, I love that. And that's so true.
Mhm.
When I first started sharing, Move Happy content and was kind of getting some clarity on what my messaging was, there was a gal that I had connected through that direct sales business where you were my customer. She's based in Canada, and she added me to this group that's all for people with depression, because that's my main population focus. Is like, obviously anybody's welcome to read my content, but I want to help those that struggle with depression, like diagnosed depression. And she added me to the Facebook group, and it's strictly for people that are struggling with depression, that want to connect with other like-minded souls to help, build that community. So I'm a huge advocate for Facebook groups or meetup. Those are great tips. Thank you for that. And
Sure.
our third pillar, of course, is movement related.
Yes.
And being a busy bee as you are, I'd imagine, time is a factor and struggle, but we there's enough literature out there that demonstrates, exercise or fitness or moving, dance, sports, whatever it is that gets you up and moving helps with our mood. We know that.
I
I want
agree.
to take it to that next level and help people find things that really make them happy first. And for some, they might not know yet. But I hope that by sharing something that you enjoy, that maybe somebody will be like, oh, I haven't tried that. Maybe I
Right.
should try it and see if it'll, kind of boost their mood or get them interested. So, with that in mind, what are some of your favorite ways that you enjoy moving your body that maybe don't cost a lot?
Oh gosh. Well, I am the weirdo that dances in her house in the kitchen. Like I have
Yes.
my headsets on. Oh my gosh. And the 80s again, the 80s music. Okay. So musicians, first off, let me rewind. First off, musicians. Okay. So I played the flute and piano, right? Now,
Yeah.
and I have an ear for tone and
Mhm.
whatnot. I
Mhm.
can't sing at all.
That's okay.
Okay. But music, as you know, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, it saves lives. It
Yes.
really does save lives, right? So
Yep.
you can listen to Spotify, YouTube. I mean, there's so many different cassettes. I still have cassette tapes and CDs. Okay. So music alone, but as a musician, we also write. Most of us write. And I've always loved writing, and I've always loved to read. I journal, and I journal randomly. Sometimes I'll get on a kick and I'll be consistent with it. And then
Uh-huh.
sometimes I'll go like 2 years and then lose my book that I was writing in and find it. I was like, oh yeah, and reminisce about that.
Yeah.
But the reading, that's another good one too. As a busy person, as a mother, as a full-time employee, as
Yep.
working with nonprofits,
Yeah.
big brother, big sister, right? All of those things that we do that make us feel good, and giving back, you know, that's another thing that makes you feel good that doesn't cost anything is when you volunteer.
Yes.
That right there.
100%.
And it sounds bad if I could get paid to volunteer. That's all I would do. I would just go everywhere and anywhere and volunteer
Yeah.
for whatever, whoever needed it, you know. But clearly time management, you know, you only get 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
So you have to make do with what you have in front of you. But yeah, those are just a couple things that I would do. And you know, you've got to dance and you've got to laugh. Ooh, laughing is another one. So not that we're supposed to get a lot of screen time, but I will watch Friends over and over and over again.
Such a good show.
And there's another one that I just started, the New Adventures of Old Christine. Oh my Lanta, I'm telling you right now, just 30 seconds it's just all you need sometimes.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. Thank you for those tips.
Yeah, sure.
I love that. Absolutely.
Sure.
And you know what? I know that you've dabbled in a few different things, and I hopped on one of your trainings earlier this week. What are you like super stoked about, super excited about that you'd like to share with our audience? How can we support you? What's going on?
So what I'm doing, so I'm a preschool teacher as well. And one of the things with the business that I'm with, the health and wellness, is the products that they have in there. So, you know, we all know that the world needs a lot of help. And our carbon footprint, we want to reduce it as much as possible. And I really didn't know about that word until a couple of years ago. But it's the simple things that you can do to make the world a better place than when you leave it than when you left it, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I'm trying to do is right now in some of the preschools, we have, and it's state standard, right? There's early child care development that makes these rules and regulations that's required for the classrooms for sanitizing. And then when COVID hit, Lord knows there's more sanitizing going on.
Yeah.
But the toxins and the chemicals and the smells that are out there that affect adults and children internally that you can't see, the product line that I work with has like 99.9% effect, that it's non-toxic. We don't have childproof lids, and it's just a new product, a way of cleaning to get rid of the bleach, basically. So I'm working on a proposal to give to the state of Washington to change that and implement into the preschools. And so it's been a 6-month process already. I'm getting close to getting done, but just really educating yourself on the products that you're using in your home, and giving it a change. You're already buying the products, but it's what's in the products that a lot of people don't really look at when they're using. So that's kind of the turn I've taken over the last couple of months. And it's been an eye opener for sure, with some of the things that I've used in the home and at my work. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now.
I love that. So anyone listening now that lives in the United States needs to reach out. That if you have a preschooler at home or you care about preschoolers, you need to reach out to Julie and ask her how you can support her. And we'll make sure to put your link in the comments once we post this up. I wouldn't stop at Washington State, though that is a big project in itself. But I'm guessing you guys can work with any state. Our children, we need to start taking care of our children. I know there are plenty that are, but COVID really opened some eyes to how we're allowing certain products to infiltrate our country. Is it a cost factor? Is it a quality factor? It shouldn't matter. We should definitely make sure that we're giving good quality for all of our kids.
Exactly.
Because they're our future generation. So
they really are. They are.
I love that you stand for that. That is amazing. And I always like to close it out just with a simple little silly question to help people, connect with you on a personal level, though they've learned a lot already.
And I'm an open book, people.
So I know we touched on, a variety of topics here, so I'm just kind of pulling this out of thin air. Okay, so we had Valentine's last weekend. So what is something when you're not working and you're not helping and volunteering and doing all these things for all these other people, what is something you enjoy doing, spending time with your hubby?
Oh, oh my gosh, my husband is so awesome. And he's so thoughtful and considerate. He goes out and warms my car, especially with the snow we've had here in Seattle.
Oh,
Couple days, super sweet. It's really amazing. He creates these playlists for me. It goes back to music. He creates
oh.
these playlists for me and he names them, whether it's a lazy day, whether it's the covers, he's very good at knowing what songs work. And
Uh-huh.
the fact that we both like the same kind of music, he's
Oh, that's
several years
perfect.
younger, so
Uh-huh.
um I'm very blessed. I'm very lucky to have him. And we've just, he's a realtor. I used to be in the mortgage industry, so we can talk about that. We can talk about our
Yeah.
kids, and we just, whatever moments we get, whether it's me cooking dinner and an air
Uh-huh.
fryer. You need to get an air fryer, by the way. Um,
You're the
dinner.
second person that's told me that this
Oh,
week.
oh my gosh, yeah.
It's a
So
sign.
we just work really well together.
I love
So
that.
yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like quality time might be one of your main love languages.
It is. And he'll go to the store and get the groceries and then I'll make the dinner. So
Oh
he
my
gets the
gosh,
ingredients and then
teamwork.
I'll make the dinner.
I
So yeah,
love that.
he's awesome.
Oh,
He's
that's
awesome.
awesome. I love
Yeah.
that so much. Well, thank you again so much for taking the time. I know you're super busy, so thank you.
Oh, thank you. Anytime. Anytime.
Love you, girl.
Love you too.